sold the GTV for. It's got some typical Brera faults, which I'll just show you around a moment. It's TBI. There's only about 65 in the country, and it's very pleased with it generally. But we'll show you the faults that we've found so far. Another fault with the Brera 1750 engine is the oil cooler or oil pipe to the turbo can get blocked up and destroy the turbo. I looked under here where the pipe is, and it felt a bit oily to me, so I've got a modified pipe that I'm going to fit to the turbo, and it should eliminate any problems. There is a small filter in the end here that's what gets blocked up, and the starvation of oil to the turbo destroys the turbo. The fault you can get is with the tilt on the seat in the Brera. Now I've sorted this one out already. This one was stuck here, but it works quite well now. The main problem is to get oil down into the mechanism there. Free it up with WD-40, and then you need to put some say 3-in-1 oil or something like that on it, and that should stop it seizing up. Here we are inside with the engine running. Very clean inside. Wonderful seats. One problem I do have with this, I've noticed with this car, and I've got it with my 159 TBI as well, is that there's a bit of a turbo lag or flat spot when you're pulling say from about 1500 revs in a fairly high gear, say 5th or 4th, and you get this flat spot where the engine completely dies. You've got to take your foot off, put it down again, and it's fine. Sometimes you get a couple of metallic clicking sounds with it as well. Now on the 159 I've changed the knock sensor, the plugs, and it's still the same. So I phoned around quite a few Alpha dealers and experts, and none of them seem to recognize it as a regular sort of problem. So I'm not quite sure what to do about it now. I might contact the main dealers and see if they've had a recall on this, because there is some suggestion that it's a loom fault, and there's a modification to the loom to overcome it. While some owners say it's best to remap the engine, because the mapping on these engines isn't all it should be. So I'm not sure which route I'm going to go down, but we'll tell you in another video. Another problem, there's a bit of a rattle on the suspension this side. So I'm going to have to get it up on a ramp and have a look at that. And also the sills are a little bit starting to rust up a little bit there. Don't know if you can see them. And they are going to have to be cleaned up a bit. They're just on the edge of the here, just starting to rust up a little bit. So that's a job probably for the spring. much the same around the other side. We'll just go and have a look a minute. There, you can just about see it there. Just started there. And at the front, it's just stone chips that really started off just down in the corner there. So that'll be a job for the spring, that one. So all in all, I'm quite pleased with it. Here we have the Brera rear wiper, which is seems to have seized up. Hardly any movement on it at all. I have taken the motor off and it was in a terrible state. But the first thing I need to check is the fuses, so we'll have a look at them first. Here's the fuse box. Now it's number 52 fuse, and if you look at the guide, you can see that the fuse that controls the rear wiper also controls the cigarette lighter. So you can assume that if the cigarette lighter works, there's nothing wrong with the fuse. Well, if we push it down and wait for it to come up. There, it springs up. So that tells us that the fuse should be okay for the rear wiper. Right, the first thing to do is to remove the plastic trim, which only just clips in, so it's quite easy to get off. There we are, just two plastic clips for that. Next is to remove the wiper blade. A 10mm spanner is needed for this, and a screwdriver. All we have to do is lever up the cover of the wiper blade, and then undo the retaining nut. Very easy. First thing is to remove the connector, which connects the connector there, and then you have three retaining bolts that are Allen key type things, which you can undo quite easily with a screwdriver. The right head on it. See it there, alright. This is a second-hand motor I've got. I'm sure it's good from the person on the Brera register. So, hello Brera owner, must be good. the middle of the purse always has false in, and the one's on the end. The one underneath. Check it, she's come up through the... Okay, yes, that's fine. So, the retaining bolts don't have to be finished quite clean. Here. All three done up. And we can put the electrical connector back in. There we are. Put the white blade back on the outside. Hoping that the motor's popped in the right place. There'll be a bit of a trial and error process. Spanner. And the next thing to do is to dry it. That one from so, give it a try. There she goes. All working. So you've seen it all working. In the wiper motor apart, it's pretty gunged up in there. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty horrible. Although the actual motor does turn, so it's probably could be reconditioned, I suppose. I might have a go at that and keep it in reserve, so to speak. So there we are. That's the rear wiper motor. Here we have the turbo oil feed pipe that I've just changed. This is the old one. A lot of the problem is that there's a tiny filter in one of the union nuts there, and they sometimes clog up, and that leads to oil starvation for the turbo. This one isn't too bad, but I'm still glad I changed it. You are supposed to change these filters as a service item, but very few people do. So there we are. That's the turbo pipe. You need a very thin 17mm spanner to get onto these unions, which is you've got to have that before you start, really. So else it's almost impossible to do. But there we are, that's the turbo oil feed pipe fitted. Here's the turbo oil feed pipe, just here. You can see it there. That nut's not too bad to get off. The one on the other side is a bit more difficult, and that's where you need the flat 17mm spanner. So the next job on the Brera is the knocking underneath. I did notice on the last MOT there was an advisory that the near side upper joints, there was some slacking, but it was acceptable. Well, I don't think it is, because it's knocking quite badly. So we're hoping it's the upper wishbones which will need replacing next, which is quite a common fault with the Brera as well. And after that it's get to grips with the flat spot, and then she should be up to speed. We wax oiled the front subframe and rear subframe. Bit of a messy job, but it's done now. Change the oil and filter, and of course the turbo feed pipe. So, progress being made. And of course I changed the rear wiper.